Ladies and gentlemen of NASA, this is Charles Xavier. Help is on the way.
We're doing space missions now. Cool.
We get the astronauts, we bring them home. Go.
The heat signature's rising fast.
We gotta get out of here.
Where's Jean?
Where is she? Jean!
She'll kill us all.
The girl dies. She's still our friend.
She's not Jean anymore.
Are you threatening me?
That's right.
That would be a bad idea.
Welcome to a Big Show Entertainment Network special event. Super Dave Raines and the Big Show on location here at the Regal Cinemas, United Artists, Colorado Center 9 and IMAX in beautiful Denver, Colorado. The 5280, and we are here tonight on North American premiere night for X-Men Dark Phoenix, and I'm joined by Dustin James from Generally Nerdy, a part of Big Show Entertainment Network, and it's been a fantastic relationship, and we're doing some really great things. Tonight is a movie that's a little controversial. It's kind of the end of a era, so to speak. So X-Men Dark Phoenix, starring Michael Fassbender, Nicholas Hoult, Sophie Turner, Jennifer Lawrence, and am I forgetting someone?
Professor Xavier. I can't.
Oh, James McAvoy. There we go.
Yep.
James McAvoy. So what do you think about tonight? It seems like, the big thing that this is the last X-Men for Fox Entertainment, as X-Men is going to go over to Disney and be Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige's going to kind of take over.
Yeah, it's going to Marvel Studios because everything except for Fox News is now part of Disney. So it's leaving because the Fox Entertainment wing still exists.
Yes.
So it's being transferred from Fox Entertainment to Marvel Studios, which are both subsidiaries of Disney now. My expectation. So when this movie was first announced and it was in scripting phase,
right.
I was super excited about it because we're revisiting one of the most iconic X-Men stories ever.
Yes, I agree.
And the last time we did this in live action, it was garbage. Right. And so I was super excited because a lot of the stuff was saying we're going to approach it right. We're looking at it through different eyes. Originally, it was supposed to be two movies. They were going to have the Phoenix Saga and then the Dark Phoenix Saga, and they were going to be two separate movies.
Right.
So that said to me that they were really looking at it from something that's going to be more honorable to the source material.
Right.
As production moved along, as Disney got closer to buying out Fox, as the studios stepped in and said, these are the things that we need in this movie because reasons. I started losing all hope, and then when we started getting trailers, and we saw in the trailer a giant spoiler. So Fox spoiled their own movie with the death of Mystique.
Yeah.
I completely lost hope.
Yeah, I don't really think that was necessary for them to show that at all. Also, speaking of Mystique and Jennifer Lawrence, who I've always kind of I've been endeared to her, if that's the correct word.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Right, to Jennifer Lawrence as the actress.
Right, okay.
Because of Hunger Games.
Right.
But I think in watching X-Men Apocalypse, which I was very disappointed with, it's almost like Jennifer Lawrence was cashing it in. Has she lost interest?
Oh man, she's been, for the last 3 movies now, counting Dark Phoenix, for the last 3 movies she's been trying to get out of her contract. So absolutely, she's phoning it in.
Okay, and that's what I thought too. So she's a great actress. She really is. I love her when she is acting with Bradley Cooper. They have some kind of connection. But if you're going to do a movie, if you're not really into it, first of all, the studio should have let her out of it and allowed someone else to get the role and to have an opportunity rather than dragging her into something that she doesn't want, that she's not going to give 100%.
Well, and part of her negotiations have been that Mystique isn't a bad guy anymore, and she's not in the blue makeup for. I think there was the percentage of the movie where she actually was like a legitimate contract negotiation point.
Right.
It's something like 15 to 20% of the movie is all she's willing to do the blue makeup for.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because, from a comic book perspective, first of all, Mystique is a villain.
Right.
That number one. Okay.
Yeah, this whole weird backstory with Beast and Xavier and how they're all like this 3 buddies, and that was just such a weird thing to come out of Days of Future. It wasn't Days. It was First Class.
First Class.
Yeah, which was a great movie aside from some of the liberties that they've taken, right. But like. It kind of sort of made sense, but the more that has progressed and the more she's kind of straddled that line, the less sense it makes.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that's probably my biggest issue with X-Men is the fact that they've taken too many liberties and they have not stuck to the source material, the comic books, which are chocked full of great storylines. Yeah. And Avengers has been able to do that. Of course, you want to make your own movie. I get all that. Yeah, right. But you need to stay true to the canon.
Yeah, you need to at least pay homage to the source material. You need to at least recognize, and which is kind of a great transition into what we're expecting from tonight's movie, right? So my expectations, having seen some reviews, at least headlines and such, and scores, which at this point I think it's sitting at a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. I have fairly low expectations, and I just read a thing while I was doing research for the last Nerdy News headlines. Right. I just read a thing from the director talking about why they didn't include the Hellfire Club or the Shi'ar Empire. So neither of those two things, which are kind of critical to the Dark Phoenix portion of the saga, neither of those two things are going to exist, which is kind of the thing that why when we were talking during the previews at the last movie last week, why I said it's just going to be X3 all over again, because they're leaving out very key roles. The reason he gave for leaving them out is because he wanted to focus on the characters we already have and didn't want to introduce new characters because then it would be distracting. I don't buy that. I don't think that's going to be distracting at all. You can introduce a secondary character in a movie and have that not be a distraction from your primary characters. Yeah. There's no reason why that had to happen.
Right. Can I say something controversial here?
Go for it.
I think the reason that he did what he did is because he wants to work going forward for Disney. And I think that is the reason why he left some of these characters out.
I feel like...
That's just my theory.
Well,
I
and
totally wrong.
I feel like this movie has nothing to do with the MCU. As far as we know anyway, none of these actors are coming back. This whole entire storyline is never going to be referenced again unless it's a tongue-in-cheek, like, oh my God, we don't want to go back there again, like a Deadpool kind of joke. Beyond that, anything associated with this movie has no bearing going forward on anything in the MCU. So if he wants to work for the MCU, I'm sure he can. In this movie, if this movie would have been successful, because I'm already calling this to be not any sort of blockbuster. Yeah. So if he had made this movie successful, that would have been boded more better. That doesn't make sense. Whatever. Would have been better for his resume than having a flop and leaving out certain characters because he's trying to put it into a different Marvel movie.
Yeah, I can see that. That was just my theory. So I want to say a quick shout out to Comic Book Girl 19, who is one of the foremost experts on X-Men.
She has
period.
two 30-minute videos on the history of the X-Men or something like that.
Both.
Yeah.
Special shout out to Jeremy Johns, who didn't like this movie. And I'm like, look, if Jeremy Johns didn't like it, we're in big trouble here. I did watch Grace Randolph's review.
Okay.
And she said it was just okay. So my expectations for this movie are pretty low. Yep. But we'll see. I never judge it until I watch it.
My only real expectation right now is that it has to be better than X3. That's the only thing I'm looking for.
Me as well.
Which is a pretty low bar.
Very low. Very low. Just but wow, folks. That is it. That is the pre-show for X-Men Dark Phoenix on North American premiere night. I want to thank Chase Sexton, the director of Big Show Q Branch, for being behind the camera, as always. Man, has he gotten really good.
Right.
So, folks in Denver that need production work, just get a hold of Chase. Actually, you can send me an email at superdavereigns@gmail.com, and I'll get that over to Chase. I think Chase's email is chasesexton@Big Show Entertainment Network.
It's chase.bigshownetwork@gmail.
Okay, chase.bigshownetwork@gmail.com. So, thanks. I always talk to my cameraman. It's kind of like, this relationship thing we got going on. I just talk to him.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, so, but folks, we're getting ready to go check out this movie. We're about 10 minutes away from X-Men Dark Phoenix. Once again, I want to thank Brad Beckelheimer, the general manager here at Regal Cinemas, United Artists, Colorado Center 9, and IMAX. I want to thank Hannah Whitson from Regal Cinemas headquarters in Knoxville, Tennessee, for having us here tonight. Hannah, we'll be emailing you because we've got a lot more movies to go this summer. It's finally warmed up here in the 5280. We got a lot of things going on. I didn't even get to ask you about the Jessica Jones trailer today. That broke. It's the last season. But for Chase Sexton, for Generally Nerdy, Dustin James, Generally Nerdy on Big Show Entertainment Network. Great work on Denver Pop Culture Con, by the way.
Still more to come from that. Still more.
Absolutely. I'm Super Dave Reigns. And until next time, own the love.
She's coming.